Hey everybody, welcome to Comfortable Conversations with a Black Artist. So comfortable, in fact, that I'm recording this on my iPhone. No microphone, no lighting, no set. I just wanted to do my respectful send-off to Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man featuring Emanuel Acho, where they discuss race issues and sort of help white folks to get an understanding on Black folks. Well, guess what? This is not that. And this is really just about art and artists, friends of mine, colleagues, collaborators, getting together and talking about art and how it affects their lives and their careers. And my hope is to share some of these stories and insights with y'all so that way you too can have some insight on what it takes to be a professional artist. So that's what I have for you. And in this first edition, it's essentially an interview with a student of mine. Her name is Ashlianna Felix. She's on the Instagram. I'm sure I'll post everything that you need to find her art in the comment section. And yeah, it's basically her interviewing me, which is pretty cool. And we're talking about my career, and I thought it'd be a great sort of introduction to myself for those of you who haven't followed the previous videos and really don't have an understanding of who this character is standing in his living room. So anyways, I want you to check it out. I definitely would like you to leave a comment below. Please do hit that old like button, and definitely subscribe so you can get some more videos as they come out. So anyways, please enjoy Comfortable Conversations with a Black Artist.
SketchyGOichie.
And so Ash decided that she wanted to do basically a Q&A session. And she rightly assumed that this would be beneficial to other artists who want to kind of ask someone who is actually doing this for a living, if you want to call it that. And so I want to give her the opportunity to just throw some questions at me, and I will answer them as best as I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll fake it so it sounds authentic. And so Ash, first off, why don't you let's discuss how we know each other. That would be beneficial.
Oh yeah.
So how do we meet, Ash?
I am a student at UMass Dartmouth pursuing illustration, and I met Roger last year in my illustration class. He was my professor.
Professor.
Professor Roger.
That's right. And if I'm not mistaken, the class we were doing at the time was character design and environment design, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Right? Which is pretty much right up the alley of most people who are on the internet now, right? They all love anime, and they all love character design as it relates to cartoons, and
I love character design. Right?
Just in general. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I also, maybe you may agree or may disagree, but I think fashion design is in effect a character design discipline, right? So that's anyways, that's how we met. I'm a new teacher at UMass, so it's and I'm curious to see if they're bringing me back and in what capacity this next semester. But for now, all right, so let's get into it. So you have generated a list of questions. Why don't you fire off your first one, and I'll see what information I have.
All right, my first question is, what did you pursue in college?
All right, so first things first, I went to I guess college level art school. So I went to New Bedford Voc in Massachusetts, and I took up commercial art there. And then I went to an art school called Butera School of Art, which essentially was it's an accredited school, but it did not have all of the sort of university experience that you have with all the other classes, with the English and the math and all the other things that you have to do. And so it was literally just straight up art school, all day long, commercial art. And so I got my start basically in my interest level in that. I realized then that being an illustrator is a career. I had no clue. I thought it was just, you just got a job in comic books. And even in high school, I knew that there were commercial artists that worked in advertising, but I didn't see my role in it. And it wasn't until I went to Butera School of Art that I realized, you know what, I could be a guy who like draws pictures for a living, and for real. And so that's how I kind of got the bug.
Very cool.
I think that kind of answers the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So after you finished school, what kind of jobs did you apply for, and where did you?
Where? All right. So what and where? So after I left Butera School of Art, I actually was very fortunate. The members of the staff and the administration there liked my work, and they actually got me some interviews, literally right out of school. And you got to understand, Ash, like when I came out of school, it was a much different era. I mean, it was literally pre-internet. So it was dark, and everything was so analog then. It was like, it was like someone liked your work and you created a physical portfolio, not a digital one, a physical portfolio, and you lugged it around in this big black case. And essentially what happened is the administrators and the teachers, like, they got me interviews at advertising agencies in Boston. And so I went on, I dragged my my big portfolio, up the elevator, 40th floor, the 30th floor to these big buildings in Boston. And I met with creative directors, and I met with the, at that time, illustrators were under the production department. So we weren't necessarily in the creative group. We were like a tool for the creative.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's like the dynamics were totally different then. But yeah, so I got my first job out of school just simply through the contacts I got in school. Yeah, and so the where was my very first job was at Hill Holiday Advertising, which still exists actually. And
cool.
At the time, I think they were the #1 advertising agency in Boston. So I hit the ground running.
That's pretty impressive.
What else you got?
Did you find it hard or challenging to find a job in this field?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think I was fortunate. I think I spoke of the dark ages, of that time when I came out in the 90s, as being the dark ages. But in effect, it was the tail end of the golden age of advertising. So I feel like, and this goes for anything in life in general, it's timing. And so it wasn't necessarily difficult for me to get a job. I think, at the time, I think they created a position for me, I was really fortunate. But there was still a need for in-house illustrators at the time. And so every advertising agency, at least the major ones, had like guys and gals that worked in-house. And only time they brought freelancers in was when they had enormous pitches that they had to do for big time clients, or they were trying to acquire a new business. So for me, like, the timing was perfect. I was, as an art student, I loved to draw. They wanted some kid that he can pay, very little amount of money to come and draw. And I was perfectly willing to be that guy. And so, to be honest with you, so timing is kind of the thing you have to know in this business. And you also have to be prepared, And so I think the education I've noticed that is happening there at UMass is like, there's definitely some serious preparation in terms of the skills. Like you guys, you definitely like the instruction that I've seen I've seen your projects and some of your fellow classmates' projects. And it's like, so the skill is being infused into you guys. The only thing that I would help or try to guide you guys with is like navigating the real world, like once you guys leave school. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this with you.
Absolutely. All right. So my next question, speaking of being prepared, what helped you look good to potential employers? Like, was it something specific about your resume? And what did your portfolio look like?
Oh, it's the tuxedo. I went to every interview with a tuxedo. I treated every interview like it was like a red carpet at the Oscars. That's how I do it, right? Gown. No. Now the reality is, like, speaking of timing, the way it is now essentially is like, I think you have to create a really rock solid like social media presence. Like that to me is your calling card, particularly in Instagram. Instagram to me strikes me as, at least in 2020, as rotten as 2020 is, it still strikes me as the main way of having a portfolio, a digital portfolio. So to me, whether it be student work or, sorry, my daughter's trying to sneak in. I have to give her the halt. Whether it be student work or your own personal work, you want to put your best foot forward on Instagram, you know? And it's not just simply the art. This is something I'd like to advise everyone who's posting on Instagram. Tell a little story in addition to the art. Give people the sense of like your process that it took. And one thing I noticed that you do, which I really like, and a lot of our artists do as well, is don't just put the single image, put the construction images that lead up to it. And then, there's another thing that you do that I really like as well, is that you always post like a zoomed in shot of the feature part of that illustration, like whether it be the face. There's an element that I've noticed that you're particularly proud of, and you'll do the full image for everyone to see, and then you'll do a zoomed in image as one, two, or three images that you have in this sort of like in your presentation. And I think that is part of it. That's that, because you know some people don't look at it on their phone. Right?
Right. And the best part is going to be like this big.
Yeah. And so I think that's a wise, so you're already putting your best foot forward as how to present. So to me, if I had to distill it down to something simple, up your Instagram game. Put your best foot forward with each sketch. Try not to put, yes, I say put the construction stuff in there, but try not to put really weak ideas up. And I know it's going to be difficult for a lot of young artists to figure out, well, what's weak versus what's strong. But all you really have to do is be open-minded and be watchful of the really successful Instagram posts. Like, there's stuff that inspires you. So look at it, really study it. Like, why is that so dynamic? Why does that look so good? Why are those colors the way they are? Why is that line quality so good? Like, why, what are they doing with their images that make them so interesting, right? Study and do analysis of that, and maybe you can start infusing your own creativity with those, pull some of the highlights of some of other people's art and start bringing it into yours. Not stealing, but bringing sort of those inspirational elements in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense, actually.
Cool.
My
first does that make sense question.
Huh?
That's my first, that's like my key phrase. Every time we do a video together, hey, does that make sense? You can help myself.
Good catchphrase now.
All right.
These are going perfectly because it just led into my next question. I was going to ask you, like, what is the importance of Instagram and LinkedIn? Because I'm hearing a lot of people who are starting a business find LinkedIn to be extremely important, and I was curious if you use this tool and if you found it useful.
Yes, I do have LinkedIn. It's I think it might still be. It's either Roger Andrews or Rand 247, RAND 247. It's either or. I can't remember what my login is for that. So I'm easily found on LinkedIn. So yes, do create a LinkedIn. Obviously, you don't have a ton of experience yet, but you certainly can put your Scholastic experience in for now. LinkedIn does give you the ability to post images and video links, so you can do that as well, and links to Instagram or Facebook, whatever socials you have. And then tell the story, what you're interested in, what your influences are. Like, tell that story in your LinkedIn now. Like, I would recommend that to everyone. And I'll be honest with you, I was a LinkedIn skeptic for many, many years. I created a profile, I don't know, like a decade ago, whenever it came out, and it just languished. Like, I didn't update it, I didn't do anything to it. And then I took a small business seminar, and they said, "Hey, how's your LinkedIn looking?" I was like, you know what? I haven't touched it in years. Mm-hmm. So I went in and I updated everything. I created the links to the YouTube channel, to the SketchyGOichie channel. I updated everything you could do. I freshened it up. And once you know that, like within a week of doing so, I got 2 new clients.
Oh.
Just by simply having an updated presence. And I reached out to some of my colleagues, and I had them give me testimonials, because that's part of it as well. I think that's an important part of LinkedIn, is getting people, respected people in the industry, to give you testimonials. And I think that maybe triggered, I don't know if it juices the algorithm, I don't know how it works, but I got 2 new long-term clients just by simply doing that. And then every so often, I'll post a video that I'm really happy with, and I'll actually on YouTube through SketchyGOichie, and I'll put that in LinkedIn, and I'll watch the likes that come in, and it's people I respect in the industry that like the videos. So yes, LinkedIn, yes, Instagram, as I mentioned in the previous question. If you have those 2 as a starting block, I think that's a great sort of entry into the biz.
I guess this one's just kind of off the top of my head.
Freestyle.
You mentioned SketchyGOichie, which is like your own personal brand. So do you feel like it's important as an illustrator to have like your own personal brand, your own personal website?
I love it because let's face it, the brand is everything. What people don't understand about a brand is your identity. And the reality is, and this is going to sound harsh, is like nobody knows jack squat of who you are beyond your friends and family, you know, or the limited reach maybe your Instagram might have at the start. So if you are savvy in any way, you create a brand for yourself. You create a logo and a nice, nice font or whatever. You create that you can brand, and then you do the necessary steps to promote that brand, which is obviously Instagram and LinkedIn. And in addition to that, you know, you can do get a MailChimp account. You can do email blasts, which is a little older school, but to be able to do a MailChimp account is helpful as well, to be able to promote your, say you have an event coming up and you want to email specific people or create a database of people. You create a MailChimp account, you blast them emails like when you're doing an event, and you be really respectful about it, and people will say, oh, Ash has got a gallery showing, in May of 2021. This is probably a real date that everybody gallery showings. But like you promote yourself, and unless you have something that is like some sort of logo or something to lock people into something visual, in my opinion, you're just a name in with millions and millions of other people who are posting stuff. So in my opinion, yes, create yourself a brand, have something identifiable. I think you have like your own logo mark and everything. Like now, tag that in everything. Like put that in, like infuse that when you send images out, and like really start to promote it. That is the way to do it. And like create yourself. Like you've done commissions now. Now, like you should have an invoice that has, in a purchase order and everything that has, or an estimate sheet that has your logo on it and all your information. You should definitely, and I hope you do by now, have your own like Gmail that has your branded name on it, right? So that way you're no longer using the student server for your work. And at some point, I mean, it may be less necessary now to have a website, but at some point you may want to sell prints of your original art, or you may want to sell T-shirts or product or whatever. I like having an owner, a website that I own, rather than using someone else's service, unless you want to partner with a service that sells product. Like I know people link with, there's a T-shirt, there's several T-shirt companies, but Jack Prince or whatever, there's like, you can connect with them and they'll service your T-shirt orders. And you just have a link. But I like for folks to have a place where you can direct them to, So if you're going to build a brand for yourself, in the end, you're going to want to have a call to action, which basically means, say you post something on Instagram and maybe you put a link in your bio that directs them to your YouTube or to your website. So that way, if you ever want them to buy stuff from you, or say you want to do lessons, or you want to do anything, say you want to do, you want to link them to a Skillshare or whatever. You definitely want to have in my opinion, you're going to want to have a repository
where everything goes.
Exactly, in my opinion. That's what
So, fun fact, I actually do have a website that I've started putting together. There's a link in my my Instagram. So if you ever get extra time, and if you could like peek at it and see, like, give me a little credit and let me know what you think about it.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's a definite. That's easy. And constantly, yes, I'll take a peek at it, but like, don't be afraid to like advertise it. Like when you post something, say, hey, check out my website, link in bio, or anywhere. Matter of fact, like, what starts happening as once you become an independent illustrator, when you literally got to survive by illustration, you lose a lot of that pride, or that, I want to say it's misplaced pride, where a lot of times people grow up thinking, well, it's immodest for you to advertise yourself. It's you're plugging your own stuff, and so you're being somehow you're being disingenuous when you show your art, when you say, hey, here's my art, check out this also. And I disagree with that. I think an only way for you to really promote yourself is to promote yourself. And so I would advise a lot of artists who are looking to break into the industry and they just want to find their way at the start. Do not be afraid to promote your stuff, especially if it's stuff you're proud of. And I think a lot of people feel like that's selling out, or you're being inauthentic, or you're not. No. How are you going to survive? How are you going to get your name out if you're not putting your name out?
Right. That's true. Right?
So I suggest use every opportunity you can to promote art that you're proud of. Every vehicle, do posts. Like you and I, we're connecting on these videos, and we're working together on like you advancing your art through the sort of like how to draw like a pro series, or can't even remember what I called the other one. One of those series on YouTube. And so what I would suggest you do is every chance you get, promote it with everyone you know. Say, hey, Roger's posting this video, check it out, subscribe to his channel, which seems shameless for me. But yes, the more subscribers I have that watch the videos is the better for me. But more people who watch the videos of you, kind of your progress and seeing your steps and how you're growing, you're telling a story. It's a good thing.
Okay.
Don't shy to sell, because like the real successful artists are not afraid to sell themselves, because A, the more you grow, the more confident you get in your work, and B, if you don't sell you, who's going to sell you?
Right. Okay.
So,
I'll definitely do that.
There you go. And that's the game.
And I think that's about it. That's what I got for now.
No, that's good. I think you touched on all the aspects I think most people would want to learn. All right. So right now, let's start selling. Why don't you let everybody know your Instagram?
All right. My name is Ashlianna. My Instagram handle is Ashix Illustrations, ASHIX_illustrations. Check me out.
There you go. That's how you do it. And well, everybody, you know me, SketchyGOichie. You're here on the channel. If you haven't clicked subscribe by now, I don't know what to do with y'all. But please do. Anyone new to the channel, please do subscribe. Click the like button. Destroy the like button, as I heard referred to as. And definitely, yes, destroy it. Like the heck out of it. Watch the videos to the end. Like them. Comment. If you guys here's another good thing. If you want advice, I'm at a point. I'm very, very fortunate in my career. I'm at a point that I stay busy and I'm steady, and I've got some really great clients. So to that end, I think it's best for me to give back. Like I want people who have talent to have the opportunity to grow, and that's one of the reasons I took on the job over at UMass. And it's one of the reasons I identified Ash is really, really talented, and I know she's going to be great at this. I know it. She's got the determination and the attitude, which is something we didn't touch on in the interview, but that's a big part of it, having the right approach, the mindset, not being afraid to work, and definitely, and having that drive. So you've got that, and that's something I would express. But please do follow me, because I want to share that, and that's my point of even doing the SketchyGOichie stuff at all. So to that end, I'm gonna sign off. Ash, thanks for doing this interview. Right? You're gonna be the Oprah Winfrey of illustrators who keep this up.
I know.
All right, so I appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking the time out. And for everyone watching, SketchyGOichie, live your moment. Happy sketching, y'all. Peace.